Ham Radio News and Updates, October 27th, 2023. Got that coming up next. Bill from Ham Radio Basics here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Ham Radio Basics live from Studio B. During that show, we checked in on all the latest news and updates in the ham radio community, including new videos from several YouTube ham radio content creators, my latest videos, an update on the new Elecraft KH1 radio, and much more. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. First thing I want to talk about is I posted a reminder this Friday, October 27th, according to DX Engineering on their website, the IC7100 is going to be back in stock. And I know I've seen on several other different websites about the same date. So this is exciting news. It's a great radio. It's a very unique radio. It has HF, UHF, VHF. It does so much. I'm thoroughly excited about it. I know from what they told me at DX Engineering, there's going to be some parts have been updated. I'm hopeful it's going to be a little more than that, but we'll see. We'll find out when we get this news. Again, this is probably going to be this Friday from everything that I'm hearing. So stay tuned for that. I'll make sure to get any updates on that and get that get that information out to you guys. And here is the very interesting comments on the Elecraft KH1. And we're not going to go into the comments right here, but one of the things I'd like for you to do is to go out to my Twitter account and look at some of these things that I post out there. You'll gain a lot of great information on that. And you can see, really like sharing a lot of seeing other people's shacks out there. It's very interesting to see what people's setups are, how they have things arranged and so forth. And again, I do post that a lot out there. I got to remember to be on the right screen here. Okay. Idea about how a club increases its size dramatically becomes Handvention Club of the Year, and you can read that article out there. It's very interesting. And I want to stop for a second here. Clubs are not passe. The club that I'm associated with here in the area, it's a good club. I think it could be better, but it's good. They have a pretty decent website out there. They are quite active. I'm going to start going. They have a breakfast they meet at least 3 times a week informally, socially, for breakfast, lunch, that type of thing. Saturdays is probably the best day for me because obviously there's a lot of retired people in the club, but Saturdays is the best day for me. And I'm thinking maybe this Saturday or next, I'm going to start going to these meetings. I think it's going to be very beneficial. But again, I'm really looking forward to that. Now, this was real interesting here, and I had to want to stop for a moment here. There was an estate sale, and this gentleman unfortunately became silent key and had quite a collection of transceivers and amps and antennas, and I mean, you name it, he collected it. And the gentleman that is selling that excuse me, is only doing it in the local area as for now because he doesn't want to box it up and pack it up. So that's what I take it right there. Yeah, the IC7100 is a great radio, Andy. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, that was real interesting. And if you get a chance, go back and take a look, and you can see all the items that are listed. There are quite a few things. Now, this was unique. Somebody did a recreation of a 20s transmitter, and it's very interesting. And I don't know where they got the parts and the tube and everything, but I think it's really interesting. So you definitely, if you find it, I'm sorry. I've had it. My allergies have been bothering me. If that's something, I would recommend taking a look at this because it is absolutely very interesting here. Now, they did a jamboree on the air weekend for the Scouts, and anytime, to me, it's very newsworthy when organizations will get young people involved, especially teens, in ham radio, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think that's a great thing to do. And I really like what the scouts are doing here. I think that's a good thing. And I hope that they keep that up. And it really gets exposure to it because, this is the future of ham radio, getting teens interested in this. And I wish somebody had approached me as a teen because I was very, very much technically oriented, and I really, really, really like that. So that's definitely a plus. Now, gentleman put out here, and it's a great video. ICOM IC 7300 hidden ability. Check this out. Um, he's from over in the UK, and I would definitely watch this video to learn something new about 7300, something I didn't know. So I would highly recommend doing that. Okay, the Osmo Pocket 3 was actually released today, and this is going to be part of my workflow, and I'm going to be using it specifically to record B-roll, if you know what B-roll is for content creators, and also when I go to places like Hamcation in Orlando, Hamvention in Dayton, um, and over to Huntsville. I'm going to be using this as instead of to kind of do vlogging, and it's a lot smaller than an action cam, and it has a real niche, and it has a rotating screen. It has a microphone pickup on it. It's absolutely fantastic. Everything I've seen about it, I've ordered it. It should be coming in the next few days. I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to really improve my workflow. It'll be easier to carry around than the action cam. It's smaller than that, and some of the video I've seen from it looks really good. And I'm going to use it more than I'm just not on Ham Radio Basics, but also my drone channel as well, and also to do some personal vlogging. I think that will be a great idea, especially for when we head up to see our kids in Ohio in December. Good old Walt. What would a Ham Radio Basics news and updates be without another video from Walt? And he's one of my favorite guys out there. And he put an end-fed half wave up on the beach, and you ought to see his results. I mean, he nails it almost every single time. He absolutely nails it. But it wasn't pretty, and he was the first to admit that too when he set that up. It's not going to be a textbook like you see in an instruction manual kind of thing. It was not pretty, but it really, really worked. The Child Leaps 4010 is on my long list of antennas to get from Chameleon. Maybe Santa might get it for me. And Walt, I think Walt put in a good word for me because I left him a comment on the video. So, but again, Walt does a fantastic job on this, and he really nails it in these videos, and very educational, very fun, matter of fact, straight to the point, no fluff. Definitely, it's one I would definitely recommend here. Now, somebody posted the propagation for that day, which is absolutely fantastic. And every time I see something in regards to propagation, I like to get it out there for everybody because not everybody's informed. Everybody's saying, why can't I talk on 10 meters? Why is 40 meters like this today? You know, you need to pay attention to the solar cycle and see what's going on and know some of these things. And this really does help. So, and again, like I said, when I see this information, I like to get it out there for everybody. Again, anything involving getting teens and young people involved in ham radio is fantastic. This young lady asked her father, she wanted to build an end-fed half-wave antenna kit from ARRL, but she needed to learn to solder. So he taught her how to solder. It's just, that's priceless. That's a great skill. My dad taught me years ago, and it was with an old soldering iron. I mean, years ago, and he had his soldering iron for years. So it was very old and ancient when he showed me. But I've long since lost that skill. I think I'm going to try picking that up again because I think that would be a very good thing to learn and to be able to do. Just a good post from Josh up here. If we can only reduce the gatekeeping and let people just have fun. Um, and the not a Rubicon. It's a good post, and it's some food for thought. But there are a lot of people out there who, and for lack of a better term, I'll call them sad hams. They just don't want anybody to have fun. Jeff, welcome. Good to see you tonight. I'm glad that was great, Andy. That is absolutely fantastic. He really is, Jeff. I can't say enough about how much Walt does regarding antennas. He has a real knack for that, and especially at the beach. And none of these are all portable setups that Walt does all the time, almost all the time. And he gets fantastic results with that. And that's just it. That makes it very worthwhile. It really really does. Okay, here's a very interesting. It's called a Gator case, and it's something I would definitely check out. Not sure. It may be a 7300 in there, and it looks like there may be a Yaesu in there. I'm not sure what that might be, and another smaller radio in there. But that's an interesting case. I thought I would go ahead and share that with you guys. Okay, this is good. Ham radio operator, an introvert who shells out big bucks on expensive electronics for the purpose of sitting in a room attempting to connect with total strangers. What could be more true? But you know what? Isn't the world is a lot smaller than you think when you get into ham radio and you find out how really truly close we are to one another. And there's nothing like the thrill of making a DX contact to somebody in South America or in Europe or South Africa. It's just fantastic. It's amazing to be able. This is just the wonderful part of this hobby. You be able to talk to a person halfway across the world and from the comforts of your own home. I think it's just really neat. I wish I could find a plaque like that and get that up in my shack. That would be something that's probably on my Christmas list of things that I want. Good evening, Jan. Good to see you tonight. Yeah, that's definitely something I would be interested in here. Now, this is very interesting. This is the Wolf DDC DUC SDR transmitter, and not very up on them, but it's very interesting to come across this. And apparently, it does work all bands. It's from my understanding on that. So, if you want to find out more information, you definitely want to click the link on that. And again, this is some more information on the Elecraft KH1. And we're going to go over this after I go through all the news clips here. I wanted to spend a few minutes on that. Now, here's very interesting. I found this. It was a copy of, it was some pictures of a radio tube manual from, I believe, probably the 1970s. And it was just real interesting here to take a look at some of the, look at some of these diagrams and these pictures here. RCA receiving tube manuals, $1.25 from the Radio Corporation of America. Basing diagrams for RC replacement and discontinued types. I think that's pretty incredible. And that was an incredible find that somebody had posted, and I wanted to share that with everybody. Solar boost for FT857D can a 6 amp hour last a 3 hour POTA and POTA activation. So that would be a one I would absolutely recommend and check out when you get a chance. Now, this is my most recent video that I put out, and I did that. Help me decide what to do. Email with a solution will win a Ham Radio Basic swag pack, and I mean that. What I'm looking for is watch the video. What I did was I took one of my drones up and I actually filmed my side yard, and this is where I'm allowed up to a 20. I'll kind of give you a short Reader's Digest version here. I'm allowed up to a 20-foot antenna, okay, or 20-foot flagpole. Excuse me. All right. So that will be the disguise for the antenna. But I have several challenges. One of them is I can't use radials, or I can use radials, but I'm going to have to bury them pretty deep because we have a lawn mowing service. We pay the HOA, and they come on a weekly basis, and they just have at it. The other thing is running coax from the middle of the yard over to, and you can see the window in that picture here. Maybe I'm kind of touching on. That's my den. That's where I'm at right now, and I would probably be placing the antenna right here. So I've run coax here, but the problem that I have is we have a sprinkler system. Everybody has irrigation, and I make, if they're buried deep enough, I can go over them, and that's not a problem. But if they're not, that's another issue. So those are a couple of the challenges. But watch the video, and if you can come up with something and give me a suggestion, good suggestions, I'm going to mail some swag to people. So stay tuned. Instructions are in there. Most of you know my email address. I know Jan does. I know Andy does. It's hamradiobasics@gmail.com. Also going to be putting this video out on my drone channel because I did fly a drone technically to do this. So, and got a very good and unique perspective for you guys to be able to help me out with this. So, because I'm really open to suggestions and I want to get something firmed up because right now, for me to get on the air, what I have to do is I set my Chameleon MPass up for a full vertical out in the backyard, run 50 foot of coax that comes with it into my living room, and I talk from my living room. Okay, it's not an ideal setup. It does work. I've hit all the bands out there. It's absolutely fantastic, but I want a permanent setup. So I would appreciate anything, any advice any of you guys can offer. I've gotten quite a few comments and emails already, and I appreciate all of that. So, so that's what that is. Okay. Again, there's an ATS 120 receiver. Okay. And, this gentleman, I'm trying to remember his name. He's over in Europe, and he makes a great loop antenna out there. But the ATS 120 receiver, it's basically it's kind of like a very small shortwave radio, but it does have the hand bands on there. It does have a lot of interference. It's only $70, but it's very portable. In other words, but there's a lot of noise with it, and you probably need to use an external antenna to really get some of the great bands to pick them up. But I wanted to call your attention to that because everybody's talking about the Elecraft right now. So great article. I posted a great article on understanding single side SSB. Especially for new hams, I think it's really good to get an understanding of this. I mean, a lot of you guys can get out there. A lot of you guys can get out there, you pass your test, you get out there, and you have terminology thrown at you and you don't really know what some of this terminology is about. So I highly recommend reading articles like this and sharing articles like this, especially with newly licensed hams. I think it would be very good for them. Parks on the Air book, all right? And I totally missed it when I first saw this the first time around. Okay. Now, my good friend Michael Martins, we've had him on the show. I absolutely love Michael. Fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Okay. Take a look right there. There he is. It's a picture of Michael Martins on the Parks on the Air book. Okay. Probably nothing more fitting for Michael than to be on that book. Michael, congratulations. That is awesome. He said they don't mention me in the book at all, which I find very surprising because he's probably I'll call him, if not one of the he is a poto expert and extraordinaire, but it's just awesome to see his picture on that book. And one of the things I can highly recommend if you're looking to give a gift this year, obviously I'll take an ICOM IC7610. No, I'm just kidding. This book would make an ideal Christmas gift for your favorite ham radio enthusiast. So, and it's not that expensive. It's on ARRL. They ship fast. I would go ahead and buy and get some. And if you know some hams, buy them for them. Send it to them for Christmas because I think it's a great book. And really like their books. It's clear, it's concise, it spells things out, tells you how to get started. Really gives you everything you need to know about that. And this is something that has revolutionized our hobby. Until they came up with it, it was DX and doing, some contesting and things. But Parks on the Air has really kind of taken off. It's really helped the ham radio community as well, Bond. It's absolutely fantastic. It's something I would highly recommend. I recommend you get a copy for yourself and get a few other copies and share them with some other hams and wish them Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. But again, that's something I would definitely recommend. Okay, I posted I did something I normally don't do. I posted my drone show out here on Ham Radio Basics last night. And if you're so inclined, you can watch the replay of this. Well, basically, we spent a great deal of time talking about the Pocket 3 and its capabilities. And if that's something that interests you, it probably starts at about 30 minutes into it. My other co-host and I, we spent quite a bit of time talking about that. So if like I said, if that's something that interests you to find out about this Pocket 3 camera, by all means, definitely go ahead and do that. Another video from Walt. How about that? Okay, trust me. I don't single out Walt. Walt is not, Walt is not on my payroll by any stretch of the means. Okay, but he really has a real knack and a knowledge for antennas, and I'm very thankful that he shares that with us, and he does a great job on that. And this is a great video, and it's something I would definitely recommend here. Okay, and again, there's tonight's show, and I did a poll here. Will you be purchasing the Elecraft KH1 handheld portable CWQRP transceiver? Okay, and final results are 71.8% said no, 7.7% said yes, and 20.5% said that they will wait to watch for reviews. So there you go. And that's with a total of 39 votes. And I really like this website. It's called 4F1EBD Amateur Radio. It's not a website, Facebook group, and they post different hams from across the world. This is Gabriella. She's from Hungary, and that really kind of struck a bell with me because my background. Both my parents were Hungarian. My dad was part Hungarian, part Slovak. My mom was pretty much 100% Hungarian, and it really kind of struck a chord with me. And we're around the world here, folks. It's just not us here in this country, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And if you get a chance, bookmark that page on Facebook and go out there and take a look at it. They do a lot of postings like this to share about other hams across the world. I think it's absolutely fantastic here. There's a site gone by, a tube testing station at a store. I mean, I remember seeing those. I remember those more at Radio Shack than like TV and appliance stores because I frequented Radio Shack like nobody's business, especially when I was a teen. So, speaking of these 7610, any takers? Yeah, I'm definitely one of them there. So, this was great. A gentleman shared from 1982 his ham radio setup. I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these pictures here. First Contact Club. It looks like some QSL cards in his setup here. That's absolutely fantastic, and that's great. That's great seeing that, and it's really a great reminder on how far we've come along in ham radio here. Yeah, Jeff, you're right. They did have them at drugstores. Absolutely here. Well, looks like somebody took some pictures of what I'll call a toy store here. You can see, looks like a bunch of HTs on display here, and antennas. Everything to your heart's content right there. And here's another picture of that. It's probably more of a close-up, maybe a little further on down. Looks like a lot of Yaesus right there. Okay, and that's interesting. Okay, you don't see that every day on Antenna Field Day. That I found that to be very interesting. Here's another interesting picture. It's one of a Heath kit from back in 1978. I'm going to go ahead and kind of blow this up here a little bit so you can take a better look at it. 200-watt homemade amplifier. Wow. Wow. That's very, very, very cool. It's very neat to see how far we've come. And here's a Heath kit from 1970. I'm sorry, that one wasn't a Heath kit. This one is a Heath kit. I found that to be very interesting. And then came across this old radio right here, Zenith. I remember my parents had something like that as well. And then somebody had posted and I called it a blast from the past, a MFJ Morse code key. Question of the day: what did you think of Ham Radio News and Updates, October 27th, 2023. Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 threes, everyone.